Want to know what the best weapon in the game is? Well, today I'm going to teach you guys how to identify what is the best weapon for you. Because the biggest problem that we have currently in the game is a lot of people tell you this is the best weapon, this is S tier, this is A tier, and you have no idea how that weapon became an S tier. You probably think in your mind, all you have to do is upgrade this weapon, and then you use the weapon, and you're like, oh crap, this weapon sucks. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a weapon not be as bad as you think it is, and how to identify what weapon is good, but most importantly, what weapon fits your playstyle and what weapon you feel comfortable with. So if you like how that sounds, a like would be greatly appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Lords of the Fallen content. That's the best way you can let us know that you're enjoying our content. Okay, now for our weapon ultimate guide. This should help you guys determine which weapon to pick and how to pick it correctly. So first and foremost, guys, you need to familiarize yourself with 3 different things within the weapon category. Number 1, you need to familiarize yourself with this, because this is going to be your starting point, what's going to determine if you should go with this weapon and invest points and upgrade this weapon if you want to. Number 1 is the strength category and the agility category, the radiance, and the inferno category. Now, these categories right here are going to determine if you should progress with this weapon, because those are tied to this area as well that we'll go into a little bit. What you want to do, guys, is you want to at least try to get a weapon that has 2 categories with a letter. The reason being is because that's going to allow you to scale the weapon even further and do more damage, because not only is the weapon going to hit hard with strength, but it's also going to be hitting hard with any elemental type that you have tied to the weapon, or it's going to be able to scale with another stat. Now, of course, if you find weapons that have all 4 of them or 3 of them, that just means you need to invest more points on your stat depending on which they are. So, quick overview. Let's take a look at this weapon. For example, this one scales off of strength. If I want this to hit even harder, I'm going to dump more points into strength. If I wanted to hit even harder, I just want to dump more points into inferno, and that's going to boost my damage. Now, the reason I chose this weapon is because the physical power is going to be tied to my strength. So the more points I jump into strength, the higher this is going to hit. The more points I dump into inferno, the higher the fire is going to hit. Your radiance and inferno are tied to holy and fire, while your strength is tied to the physical. Now, you're probably wondering, Laser, what about wither? That is going to be based, if you get a weapon that has wither, that's still going to be tied to the radiance or the infernal attribute based on the weapon. Let me give you a quick example. So this hammer right here, this one scales off radiance, strength, and inferno. So that wither effect is going to be picking up out of those categories. This makes a really good hammer, because if I dump a lot of points to inferno, I dump a lot of points to radiance, and I dump a lot of points to strength, this is going to hit really hard. Apart from this one, this is a really good hammer. It doesn't scale off radiance. It only scales off strength and inferno. So the higher that wither damage is going to go, the more points I dump into inferno, and the more damage this is going to do if I dump more points into strength. If that makes perfect sense for you guys. So that is how you want to go ahead and pick weapons. Based on these stats, it's going to determine where you're going to dump your stat points on to increase the damage. Apart from that, there's this other little column here that has 6 little items, and this is bleed, holy, fire, ignite, poison, and wither. Now these freeze effect. Now these status effects are going to increase the weapon damage even further, because they're going to give you a boost, a status effect that's going to be applied to the enemy when that enemy gets hit. This is extremely important, because if you want to pick up a weapon, you theoretically want to pick up a weapon that has 2 of these categories and at least 1 of this, to make sure you're constantly doing damage. Even though some enemies might be immune to them, it doesn't really matter, because they're still going to be applying that status effect. So for example, this one, this applies bleed, it applies fire, and it's going to be scaling off agility and off of inferno, and that is a really good one, because that means if I dump more points into agility whenever I'm building this build, that's going to scale off and do a ton of damage with this build, because it's going to be doing 2 things: proccing agility, proccing inferno, and number 3, it's going to be doing bleed and also fire. Really powerful with the opponent. Now that you understand these 2, it's time for you to understand this last column right here, which is your attack power. So your attack power is pretty much the base level of your weapon. So the higher you level up your weapon, the more attack power you're going to get, as you see right here. Big increment, right? So let's take a look at this one here. 108, that's the normal attack power with the weapon being picked up. After it's leveled to level 9, 315. So that's the base power that it does. Now, if you want this weapon to scale even further, you're going to want to make sure you upgrade it. And the only thing that you could upgrade based on the weapon leveling system is you're going to increase the physical damage, you're going to increase the point that it gets based on the fire, but the increment is very small. The way you increment the large amount of damage here is by incrementing your status. So if you notice right here, this one right here, at a base level, it's 44 plus 20. Now, once you fully level it up, it goes up 60 points, right? And then it goes up, it goes up about 60 points just by leveling up the weapon. And of course, the attack power gets increased. But where I'm going to be even increasing it even further is by boosting this Inferno to give me that additional plus 113 to make the weapon really powerful. So what you want to do, guys, is always look at the attack power. Try to get the one that has a really high attack power, because that means that whenever you level up your weapon, that's going to increment. And you want to make sure that your weapon drops with 1 or 2 of these, because that means whenever you increase your stats here, based on the ones that are activated, that means that weapon is going to hit even further and do more damage. Now, if you want to go for the triple dipper, you're going to want to make sure you look at anything that has this here, because these status effects are going to apply even more status effects to the enemy, allowing the weapon to do more damage over time while that enemy is being hit or procced. And there you guys have it. That is how you determine on how to pick a weapon, because not every weapon is going to be the best for you. It's just going to be the weapon that you feel more comfortable with. But picking it and knowing how to pick it is crucial for this game. I hope you found this guide helpful. If you did, do me the huge favor, guys. Drop a comment, drop a like. But most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Turn on all your notifications so you guys won't miss when our videos go live. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.